I'm working for myself now. And going broke in the process. No, I'm working for myself finally. I should be excited, right? Some days I'm excited. Some days it's like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. No, I'm working for myself, full-time filmmaker, photographer, and it's making progress. I prepared myself when I left my last employer, I prepared myself for what's to come. I knew that this is a journey. This is forever. This is the new way of life. And you coming from working 20 years in an institutional type of clock in, blue collar type of stuff, there's a transition you have to make. You have to rid yourself of that system. A check every 2 weeks. We're not getting a check every 2 weeks. And this is the beauty of it. You could get a check every day. In fact, I get money coming in very often, a lot more often than every 2 weeks. So if you look at it that way, I'm getting a check more often now. I just hope I didn't make a mistake. You can always get another job. That's another thing. After you do this, you have to kind of coach yourself. You have to come up with some phrases and some, some influences that keep your mind on it. You can always get a bullshit job. That comes from Gary Vee. I like that one. You can always get a bullshit job. And it's true. Let me do this for a few years, can always get another job. Get out of that job. Okay? Now listen, don't quit the job and just go off and you don't have a plan. That's number one. You need a plan. And what's a plan? A plan, a business plan, whatever. It's a course of action that you're going to take after you leave this. Bills don't stop. Costs don't stop. None of this stuff stops. So you can't just say, all right, I'm going to leave. Okay, you'll get buried. You need a plan, a course of action that you can take day to day to make it all work. So that's your thing. Leading up to when you leave that job, you have to create a plan to where you'll start to make more money. And if it's a side hustle, make sure you're making money on the side to begin with. Sort of what I followed was that the job was getting in the way of potential money over here. The job was getting in the way. So I'm on my way to work and I get 3 people hitting me for work. 3 new customers. Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Hey, is it possible for next Thursday? Hey. No, I work all those days, and I can do Sunday. Well, Sunday's too late. When that happens, it's like it's time to go. And that was happening. It was happening a lot for years, 2 years, 3 years, and I just thought, whatever, it's just a side gig. I never thought that it could turn into a full-time thing until about a year ago, and I said, you know what, it's time. I'm getting hit up by so many people that it's a crime to stay here. I mean, I'm shackled. It was a desk job, so I was at a desk, and I just couldn't get anything done. It's almost like it's just crazy. I tell you one thing, it's different. Working for yourself versus working a job is different, and obviously you would expect it to be different. You're no longer the employee. You can clap that up. Everybody clap that up. You're not an employee anymore. You're the boss now. Okay? Don't boss up on them now. You're the boss, you're the manager, you're the owner, and you're the employee, and the accountant, and the marketer, and the social media person, and the corporate lord. You're everything. You're everything to run this business, and you're gonna find that out real soon. And you have to take care of customers. You got to take care of sales and execute and make the product, whatever you're into. So be ready to wear a lot of hats. Tip 1 is learn how to do all that shit. And I'm serious about that. Read how to be a little bit of a lawyer. Read up on how to be a little bit of an accountant, how to do software, how to do HR, how to do marketing, how to do sales. Learn these fields because you're going to be in them, especially if you're a solo act, and you are, because you just started and you don't have budget and you have all these things. Okay, so just get ready for that. Get used to wearing a lot of hats. being self-employed or working for yourself, it's different than being an employee. The employee does one thing, does the job at hand, and that's pretty much it. And then we all do. We're supposed to take on new responsibility, climb the corporate ladder and all. Well, we don't do that. We stay in our lane. I'm here for the paycheck. What do I got to do? Clock in, do one thing, lift these boxes, type this up, whatever it is. We want the most money for the very least amount of effort. I mean, that's an employee. I mean, that's the truth. That's an employee. Most of the time, employees waste time. When you're not into the work and you don't really want to be there, you waste time. It's almost like 50% of the work time is wasted. Wasted on conversations, playing on your phone, on Facebook, watching YouTube, surfing the internet, shopping on Amazon, chit chat by the water cooler, coffee breaks, smoke breaks, just mess. Most of it's wasted time. But when you're self-employed, you can't waste this time. You can't waste this time. You won't get anything done. Your job is now everything. If you don't function at a high level, there will be no sales, there'll be no customers, there'll be no success. You can't sit around like an employee, playing on your phone and just collecting a paycheck. It was fun, but again, we're not doing that anymore. You know, we got a lot of hats to wear now. So get prepared for that. Another thing, when you're an employee, again, you get to kind of waste time, you get to kind of chill. You don't really got to worry about a customer. You're an employee. Unless you're in sales or unless you're doing something, you don't really have to worry about going out and bringing in people, customers, to generate revenue, to patronize the business. This has all changed. Working for yourself, now you have to market yourself. You have to look good. You have to say, hey, buy with me, spend with me, work with me. I can do this, I can do that. So now you're turning into sort of a salesperson. Even if you're in a service, I'm in a service, I gotta sell my photography work so much. Hey, you wanna try this? Hey, wouldn't you wanna do this? You wanna shoot? You want a commercial? What do you want? Okay, you can't just sit idly by like an employee anymore. You have to actually go out and get the customer. So now you're a salesman. Now you're a marketer. And they want you to do taxes, yo. Now, as an employee, you definitely deal with taxes. I mean, you don't really deal with them. You get the check, the money's gone. And taxes suck all around the board. And taxes suck when you work for yourself too. It's structured a little different. When you're an employee, you earn money and they take the taxes out of your check, out of your paycheck, before they give it to you. They take it out. Now, on the flip side, working for yourself, you earn all the money. Then at the end of the year or the quarter, you settle up. Hey, I made this much, how much I owe you? And it's a little better, it's more freedom in it that way. Why? Because you can deduct things. They say, okay, you made $100. Okay, we want a piece of that $100. You say, what? Yeah, we want a piece of that $100. Okay, so you can get a piece of the $100, but you can make the 100 and say, well, wait a minute, I paid for something that contributed to making the 100. I had to drive across town. It cost me $50 in gas. Okay. The IRS and the tax person. Okay, so you made 100, but it took that $50 to make the 100. So we'll tax the 50. We'll tax it. It's funny how they do that. The IRS is kind of weird. They don't care what you do. We don't care what you do until you start to make some money. And even if you make the money, they want to make sure that you didn't make any profit. Okay? When you didn't make any profit, they don't care. Whatever. Yeah, do your little fun little thing you're doing. You ain't making no money. Is that funny? But as soon as you make $1 over what you paid in, $1 profit, they're interested. Okay, we want to be involved. Okay, would you make? So you did make, so you will take something home after this is all said and done. Okay, all right, we're interested. We want a slice. But if you didn't make any profit, if you just kind of broke even, he'll be out of business anyway. We don't need to. That's funny, man. It's funny. You run into this type of shit. Excuse me. You run into equipment costs. I'm a photographer, videographer, and I'm doing everything under the sun. I do portraits, I do weddings, I do music videos, interviews, commercials, we do real estate, anything under the sun that requires a camera and editing. I'm pretty much involved in. So I find myself over the years buying it all: cameras and lenses and drones and microphones and lights and flashes and stands and the plugs and cables and bags. The list goes on, and it's up to you, man. I can't tell you. I've dropped some shit. When you drop that lens, ooh, it's all on you. I used to work for Dish Network. We used to do installations. And we go house to house and put dishes on people's roofs and talk to the customer and run wires to the basement and all this stuff. Did that for 3 years. Challenging work too. So if you decide to go into that field, make sure you're getting paid. It's funny, you use a lot of equipment that's provided by Dish. The drills and the cabling and the truck and the van that you're using and all the bags and the tool belts and stuff like that. If something breaks, they got a warehouse, you just go get it. If something breaks, it doesn't work, the drill's dead, I need a new battery, I need this, I need that. Equipment, you don't really feel that when you're in a job, or if you're an employee. You don't really feel that if you're working at McDonald's and the Frosty machine needs to be fixed. Get it fixed. You just tell the customer, okay, we don't have it. When you're self-employed, that equipment matters. Keeping up with it matters. You got to replace that set of headphones. You need them. They're a business tool now. Something to get used to. And ultimately, the biggest thing is dealing with customers. If you're into sales, if that's your day job, you're always dealing with customers. And that's never really been a big problem. If you're not a people person, you might want to give some thought to that. Dealing with people, it has its challenges, especially when you have to be the neutral party, especially with the cliche that the customer's always right. The customer is mostly right. It's mostly right. It's the thought that the customer's always right that you have to keep into your head. But sometimes the customer's playing themselves. Let's just be honest. Sometimes we can just say, I don't think this is going to work. That's the line. Or, I think I'm going to go in a different direction. Some line I heard the other day. But customers are definitely difficult to get used to. But ultimately, working for yourself has been challenging and rewarding. It's ups and downs. You do take that risk from leaving an employer. You have to think about it. You may not get paid all the time. You have your good weeks. You have your bad weeks. One week you can make $500. And the next week you make $3,000. And it's just amazing how that happens. And your job is to focus on the $3,000 weeks and keep those coming in. But again, it's challenging, rewarding, and you can do it. You definitely can do it. If you can get up every day against your will, against the elements, and go into a job that you don't like, in a place that you don't want to be at, with people you don't really care for, you can definitely work for yourself. It's just that simple. You just got to be willing to make that leap. Have faith in yourself. I have faith in you. Hey, if you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and say something to me in the comments. I want to know what y'all think about this. Have you ever left your job? Are you working for yourself? What are some of the challenges that you went through? So I know it'll help me.